Okay. Alright. Nice and easy, just jump in there and I'll close that door. Stuff I see you on there.
It's rolling now, is it?
It's live right now.
Okay. Oh, it's nice and warm in here.
Perfecto. The perks of the job. Fabulous white moose coffee.
Do you like it?
Sunday. No, it's gorgeous. I really like it. Let's set this in.
As I say, it's a blend that appeals to the masses. You know, it's not like some of the speciality places.
Yeah, and there you go. It's Ben Forsyth.
Ben, yeah, great guy.
Nice fella.
Yeah,
good jiu-jitsu grappler.
Fabulous.
From SVG.
He's a big man. He's a big man.
Yeah, he's a unit.
And he's lifting heavy now, so he's like, he's a tank.
Jacked.
Absolutely.
So myself and Paul went for a swim this morning down in Portmarnock. All the gang were there, Aileen, and we bumped into all sorts and met everyone, and it's a great old community down there, you know. I really like it.
Couldn't believe the number of people. When we said we were going to go for this early morning swim, I kind of thought we'd be the only two lunatics down at that beach this morning. And when I got down, must have been 30 or 40 people there.
Yeah.
All of them in dry robes. Felt very left out. Have to get a dry robe. But there was a sense of community. There was a sense of togetherness.
Yeah.
You know, there was incense burning. There was music playing. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And what I like down there is people offering you cups of tea. Would you like a cake? Would you like this? Would you like it's a special place, like, you know, it is a special place down there.
100%. And what did Willie say? He said it was nature's crack cocaine. Like, you know, I can see how addictive it could be. I really could. You know. Yeah. And people do it every single morning. Yeah. We meet down there 5:30 most mornings now. The sunrise is getting a bit earlier, so I think on Friday it was 5:21. But we meet down there, we get in for a swim, cups of tea, a chat, and we go off about our day. Some of the girls stay a bit later, but that's normally the gist of it. Every day we're down there. Some days you can't make it, but there will be somebody down there. Yeah. And what I was finding with the podcast, and say some girls would message me and go, I'm feeling like I'd love to go down there, but I don't want to go down on my own. And I'd say, no, there'll be girls down there. There's always girls down there, so and we'll be down there as well. So they feel like, as a man, sometimes it's easy for me to go, I'll go down, but sometimes I forget that a female going down there on her own, and say, no, there'll be females down there and males, you'll be fine, and come down. And they'll welcome you.
Yeah. And they come down and they have a great time. Yeah. You know, they come down and have a great time. And there's no age profile. Yeah. The age is it doesn't matter who you are, what you are you getting in, or are you not getting in? That's the question of the day.
And the one thing that I take from today was something that Willie said as well. He said that there's some fella who has been doing that every single day for kind of years. Yeah. And every time he gets down to that water's edge and the toe goes in, he kind of says to himself, why am I doing this? And then he says to himself, because I can. Yeah. And it makes you kind of, I don't know, glad to be alive almost. Yeah. And you know, to be able to witness something like that. Yeah. It's it kind of makes life worth living, if you get me. I don't want to get too deep or anything, but it's and maybe like you touched on the community there, you know, like, and especially what's gone on in the pandemic, you know, that community is kind of missing a bit. Or even before the pandemic, it's kind of, a lot of people are just going through the motions and they haven't got that sense of community. And we're human beings. We need connection. We need connection to each other. We need connection to nature, you know. And when we've connection to each other and nature, if I'm ringing you, or you have a problem and you're ringing me and I can help you out, or how are you, or you feel better about your day. It's a bit of a purpose. Yeah, we have our jobs and our lives and stuff, but it's a bit of purpose and community, and it's a bond, you know. It's super important, I think, you know. And I think modern society's lost that the past few years, but there's people down there that are going, do you know what, we're going to do this, you know. And it didn't happen like somebody goes, no, we're all going to do this. It happened organically, you know. It is good, you know.
And I suppose that's one thing that the pandemic did. It kind of drove us all apart, you know.
Yeah.
We weren't even allowed to shake each other's hands.
Yeah.
We weren't even allowed to be within 2 meters of each other.
Yeah.
And I can see how, well, I mean, I think the pandemic has taken its toll on everybody's mental health. I think if anybody said that it didn't affect them mentally, there'd be something wrong with them.
Yeah.
You know. But certainly down there today, you got the feeling not only of community and togetherness and connection, but you got the feeling that things are on the right track.
Yeah.
We're on the way back.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
We've crossed the bridge.
Yeah.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I think there is. I'd hope there is.
Yeah.
I am slightly worried, John, that, you know, we all over here in Ireland think that's it, okay. All restrictions lifted. You know, non-essential retail open again, and in outdoor dining coming on stream now within the next week or two. But it worries me how India is so bad at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It worries me how somewhere else on this planet is so overloaded with this disease, and we think we're out of the woods. I'm slightly concerned that it's going to spill out over.
Yeah.
And we might be back into this shitstorm again.
Yeah.
And sorry, I don't mean to bring the tone of this conversation down. You know.
Yeah.
But maybe we should move on to a more positive subject.
No, but what you just said is life, you know, and I suppose that's a worrying aspect of it. But then on the other side of it is, no matter what happens, like, we can swim, we can try and earn a crust somehow, you know.
Absolutely.
Really, like, I'd always be this way inclined anyway, but when I open my fridge and when I switch on a light in my house, and if I've a job to go to, and if this job ends, I'll find somewhere else to go to. It's, for me, I'm okay. You know, I've clothes on me back, food in the fridge, light over my head. That's all we need.
Yeah.
You know, and go for a sea swim. And I had Willie on the podcast, and Willie, we went for a swim, and we got a coffee in Malahide there, and we came and he said, this day has cost me €2.50, and he said, it's probably one of the best days I've had in a long time. Sums it up, really.
100%.
You know,
100%. And I suppose from my perspective too, you know, I've had my own struggles in life and that, and I think the word worry doesn't really enter my head anymore. Now that I'm kind of clean and off drink, I've spoken publicly about my addiction and issues like that in the past, so it's no news to anybody. But, you know, once I removed drink out of my life, I don't have any problems anymore. You know. The house could go on fire. You know, I could crash my car. You know, there could be a global pandemic. But as long as that's gone, I'm kind of invincible without trying to be. So I hear you. You know, it's it's we'll always have the sea there.
Yeah.
We'll always have nature.
Yeah.
I'll always have my dogs.
Yeah.
These are the things.
Yeah.
It's the kind of the little things in life that you take for granted, which are I guess so important.
Yeah. No, it's and I, like you were talking about when you moved drink out of the equation. I worry for. I'll just turn this a slight bit. I worry for a lot of, like, I find when I speak to people that struggled with drink or drugs or whatever, and that are in recovery or working on a daily program on themselves, I worry when I look around the place with what you spoke about, this pandemic, how people became so isolated. I was working for a man yesterday, lovely man. His wife actually died of coronavirus. She died last year. She had lung problems. Now, I think she was about 85. And this man, he's lovely. I'm not going to name his name. I'm working for them years. Little Mickey Mouse bits and pieces I do for them. And he was an active runner all his life, but and the running club that was involved with, Clonliffe Harriers, a famous club, a lot of the guys that are in the club now are kind of looking after him, like they go up and see him. But I was talking to one of the guys that arranged to meet at his house. His heating wasn't working, and I just had a look at it for him. His boiler, and they said the past year and a half has taken its toll on him, because he went down to the yacht for a pint or two, and he says he might have a pint or 2 pints. He'd be down there 5 hours, and he'd get the half portion on the carvery, and he'd float home. He said this past year and a half he's probably aged about 10 years. He's gone backwards. So they're the real people. Me and you know what to do, you know what I mean, and we can work things out, and we don't need a whole lot. They're the people I worry about, that just are getting on in years and have just kind of fallen through the cracks with this. He's no children, this man, so they're the people I worry about,
And even if he had children, the children can't see him.
Yes.
Or if they can, it's through a glass pane.
Yeah.
And, and even barriers like windows, but even I think the wearing of masks is actually, it's deeply sad to we, as you were saying, we need connection and people, which we do, but even to walk into a supermarket and see everybody masked up, there's something kind of, it's normal now, but there's something kind of deeply sad about it, and not being able to see the smile on people's faces, and it's very impersonal and very, I don't know, not dehumanizing, but you get me.
No, I hear you.
Like,
I hear you.
It's, but for that man, the pub was the social centre. And to remove that out of his life, when he's lost the poor wife and has no kids, I can't imagine how it must be for people, for people like that gentleman.
And then on the other side is a lot of people that can't put into words, maybe their jobs are gone or whatever. And you see it in the off licenses. When I drive by Charlestown over here, there's queues, and the little bit I've read over the years and my experience on this planet is when people are put under duress and strain and pressure, some people can go, do you know what, I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to read a few books and I'm going to really use this time to learn and discover, and then there's 95% of people that go, just give me my medication, be it wine, drugs, whatever. That's what we do. You know what I mean? We run from pain. So I think there's another pandemic, what I'm looking at, a human toll pandemic, mental health pandemic coming at the end of this, you know, that lost connection that we've spoken about already, you know.
Dare I say there already is, you know, it already exists. I mean, we're not told about suicide numbers in this country.
No.
But I'd be pretty confident in saying that during this pandemic they have spiked.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very worrying. But again, these are not figures that we're furnished with, and so I think the sooner we can get out of this this hellhole, the better. I just hope it doesn't go on for too much longer. But I'm just worried that there might be. Well, I don't worry because I don't have any worries really. But let's hope there isn't another fourth wave coming down the track.
And if there's anybody out there struggling, get down to the sea. There's a crew of people out in the 40 foot. There's a crew of people out in Portmarnock. Get down there, swim. Nobody cares what you look like, what you're wearing, who you are. And if you're really struggling, psychotherapists, PA the house, there's tons of avenues to pick up the phone and talk to. You know,
I absolutely, John, and I did see swimming for my first time in Achill Island in January.
Beautiful.
Because I heard a lot about it, and you know the mental health benefits of it and everything. So I tried it, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. But then I came back to Dublin, where we were kind of forced to stay within our 5k.
Yeah.
And I live in Phibsborough, so there's no sea. The nearest water to me would probably be the lake in Phoenix Park, which I wasn't going to get into.
Jesus.
But I guess if we were allowed travel outside the 5k, I would have been out in Portmarnock. I'm certainly going to make a habit of it now. I'm certainly going to make a habit of it. But just back to the whole counselling thing. I see a counsellor via Zoom every Thursday evening.
Right.
Now, I used to actually see him in person before COVID, and so then when COVID hit, he kind of recommended going online, and I was a little bit apprehensive about it because, you know, you're speaking to him over the computer, and you just don't know if there's anybody else listening. Do you know? I know there probably isn't.
Yeah.
I'm just being paranoid, but you know, I felt, you know, is Zoom really the place to do counselling? And so I didn't do any counselling for a period there during COVID, and that took its toll on me mental health wise, and I found myself in a pretty dark place. But about, I suppose, 6 months ago, I decided to give it a bash, and I can tell you now, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Even though it's online and it's via a laptop, it's just as good.
Yeah.
It's just as good. So if there's anybody out there who's thinking, well, look, I can't go and see a counsellor or a psychotherapist or a psychologist, and worried about doing it on Zoom, I can tell them now, just don't have any worries. Just do it. Do it, and it works just as well. Certainly for me, and it's a way to keep plugged in. You know, if you keep yourself plugged in, you'll be good. What I also started doing there in recent times was I started working out with a PT.
Brilliant.
And the gyms are closed, but we have this little arrangement where I meet him every second day, and that as well is just amazing for the head as much as the body.
Yeah.
And just on that, I think routine of any sort, having a routine in your life, you know, getting up at this time every day, you know, having a structured day and not allowing yourself to be idle, because an idle mind is not good.
Mm-hmm.
So having your routine, having structure in your life, your head is in a good place then, you know.
Mm.
And then the odd sea swim.
You're speaking my language here. I train
Mm.
and I sea swim, and the training aspect, when I lift weights, and I like body weights, I do a lot of chin ups and press ups and squats and goblet squats. When I do that stuff, I don't want to do it. I'm like,
I know.
I want to do something that's fun. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But when I do it and I'm finished it, it's like a chore, and I'm saying, I never walk away going, I wish I didn't do that. It's like sea swimming. I've never walked away from the beach once and gone, I wish I didn't do that. When I'm walking in there, I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then when I do it, so it's important.
And do you know what the science behind... So, okay, when you work out, or whether it's cardiovascular or lifting or whatever it is, your dopamine levels kind of soar, and that's, you know, you get the dopamine hit, and that's what makes you feel great.
Yeah.
What is the science behind sea swimming? Is it, do you know, or
It's a similar. So we enter that fight or flight mode.
right?
So when we're going in there, the adrenaline is
Pumping.
your body is working,
Mm.
and then when you get in, it's that initial charge, and then when you come out, you can feel your endorphins, your dopamine, because you're after taking on a challenge. It didn't kill you, and you're coming back out, and you're a different person.
Okay.
You're a different person. So you're right. It's dopamine, endorphins.
Okay.
It's your whole system charged, as well as the multiple benefits for your immune system. Your blood pressure being lowered, and I learned all this from listening to Wim Hof. Have you ever come across him, the Iceman? So I learned all this, and he was on Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop program it's on Netflix. It was very interesting, you know. So this is where I got this information. But anytime I've walked away, if you're feeling better about yourself and you're talking to other people, and it's amazing. You can't go wrong.
I know Philly here did a Wim Hof day.
Yes.
About 2 years ago, maybe. Where outside, so just to give context, so the White Moose Finglas is located in Philly McMahon's gym, Bidu 7 Fitness, and who you know Philly. Philly's a great man. Have you had him in the seat
Philly
before?
was on the podcast when I used to do it pre-COVID in the studio in my house. But now we had to roll with the times, hence the van. But Philly will be back in soon. He'll be back in again soon.
He's a
Philly's
great guy.
solid.
But he did the Wim Hof method here with ice baths outside the gym here. I've seen a few videos of it, and I think, what is it? There's 3 things. So you have to be conscious of your breathing. Then let me try and think. Commitment is the 3rd one. So the 2nd one is breathing, commitment, and the first one is, I can't remember. There's 3 principles to it. The 2nd one being breathing, and the 3rd one being commitment. The first one, can't remember. It might come to me. Might come to me. But I remember seeing videos of that. It looked really, really good. But sea swimming is that same method, if you like.
It is.
That'll come to me now. Of course, the camera will be gone, right? I'll be in my own car.
I'm like that all the time.
Not in this van. That was it. Yeah.
I like that all the time.
Do you know that so I did a bit of psychology. I did a diploma in psychology when I was in my 20s, and in the cognitive psychology element of the course, we learned about this kind of stuff. So when you're thinking of something like that, you launch a search in your brain, right?
Yeah.
So it's like your computer when you see the thing like that, and it's constantly going unconsciously.
Yeah.
So I don't know now that my brain is still searching for that word.
Yeah.
And that's why later on today I might be sitting on the loo, or I might be, out for a walk with the dog, and bang, it arrives at the. And that's why so you launch a search in your mind cognitively, and it's always going until you find it. And that's why at the strangest of moments, in the strangest of places, that's what it was, So I just think
that happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
And you're a dog. I always love doggy people.
I'm a dog.
Doggy people. You're a dog person. A dog person. You have, it's Dobermans. Is it?
Two Dobermans.
Gorgeous.
And one Yorkie.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And they're my best buddies in the world, John, to be honest with you. And I kind of have this thing where I prefer dogs to humans, because I think with a dog, I think humans could learn a lot from dogs.
Yeah.
In terms of, loyalty, in terms of, what's the word? The love that a dog...
Unconditional love.
Unconditional, thank you.
Yeah.
Unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
And how you come into the house and the dog's tail is wagging and they're jumping up all over you, and like, no matter what you do, that dog is going to love you. And they're just, I think that dogs are potentially the higher beings on this planet. I think they're superior to humans. But during COVID, I got a lot of comfort in my dogs, because as far as they're concerned, it's business as usual.
Yeah.
So back in lockdown 1, if you remember lockdown 1, we hadn't a clue what was going to happen.
Yeah.
We were like, the shit was really hitting the fan, and like, you didn't know if you were going to die.
Yeah. No.
Literally.
Yeah.
Or what.
Yeah.
And I come home to my dogs and they just look at you, as if it's business as usual. There's nothing wrong. And I got a lot of comfort in that. And you'd bring them out and they didn't care, because they didn't know what COVID is. You're walking them as usual. They're still jumping up on you. And I do think dogs are good for de-stressing you as well. If you're stressed, and, they'll be there. And now I have a secret to tell you, John, and that is that I sleep with one of my dogs.
Right. Right.
Disney the Yorkie, he sleeps in the bed. He's down at my feet normally. But he's like a living teddy bear.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sleeping with the two Dobermans.
When my wife goes on holidays, with her sisters, I always take a picture of the dog at the end of the bed. It's like, you're gone. House rules on the fly. The dog is in the bed. We're doing what we want here.
What dog do you have?
I have 2 English Bull Terriers.
Oh, beautiful.
I love them. I have a male and a female. One of them is a rescue. So Dexter is about 10 and Rhonda is about 6.
Okay.
And like that, I have my son has autism, and before I had dogs, when I'd see people saying nanny dogs and stuff like that, you want to see these 2 dogs with him, there with him. It's like they operate on a thinking level that I do not understand, and they have a little connection with him that I do not understand. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing. Yeah. It's like they look out for him, they hug into him. They have this little connection with him that none of the rest of us have in the house. They love me and they love my other son and my wife, but they love him like something else.
Do you think their love for him is different to their love for you?
Yeah, completely. They're always looking for him. He wraps them like he loves a blanket. He'll come in from school, take off his clothes and throw on his fluffy blanket, and the 2 dogs are on him, just lie there. And if I leave them for 3 hours, they will not move. They're just with him all the time. It's amazing. It's amazing to look at.
I know of a charity called My Canine Companion. I don't know if you've heard about it, but My Canine Companion is a charity that trains dogs to be assistant dogs for kids living with autism. And actually, they're usually, I don't know what the breed is. It's a strange breed. It's like it's another way you have these these kind of crossbreeds now, Cava Poodle and Cavichan and all these kind of ones. I don't know what they are, but they're anyway. The search has been launched, John. But they have one that's called Paulie after me. You know,
nice.
Because we've had my kind of companion out to the cafe quite a lot, and so Paulie Doodle, something Doodle, Labradoodle.
Yeah,
Labradoodles. Yeah. So Labradoodles are apparently the breed that are best for for kids living with autism. So Paulie is a Labradoodle.
Yeah.
So met him a few times. But that's a great charity, an absolutely great charity. And but again, for guide dogs, I just think for guide dogs or assistant dogs, service dogs, again, I just think it's quite special how dogs can help people, people who've no sight.
Yeah,
a dog will do it for you.
Yeah,
I just think it's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
how these dogs can help us on every level, whether you're blind or living with autism or anxious or anything. Dogs stressed. Dogs they're just the gift that we sometimes don't deserve.
Yeah. And I put dog walking similar to sea swimming. When I've been walking all day and I have to walk my dogs and I come in and I walk them and I pet them and they're going crazy when I come in and delighted to see me, and normally there's fields out by me, farmers' fields, and we go out in the fields. I will never come back in from that walk either and saying I shouldn't have done that. I always, and I don't know what it is, but I'm one of these people that, like, that fence there, if I see a dog, I'm over trying to pet him, or someone's dog, and I meet other people with dogs. I love meeting doggy people because I love dogs. I just love them. And even if I haven't got mine with me and I pet another dog, you just feel better about it. I don't know what it is. When you pet a dog, you just feel amazing.
Absolutely.
You feel amazing.
And you connect with the dog.
Yeah. No.
Like my dog. This is where it gets all sappy, John. Right?
Yeah, no worries.
Have you got the violin there?
I'm all good.
So my eldest dog, Renko, he about 2 months ago. It was one evening I came home, and I have this thing where I say to my dogs, "Are you hungry?"
Yeah.
And when I say, "Are you hungry?" they go mad, start leaping around the place, knowing that food is coming. One evening I got home and I said, "Are you hungry?" And Rocky was up like a shot, and Renko wouldn't move from the couch. I thought, something pretty off here. And so he was drooling, so he was hungry, but he just couldn't move. I fed him on the couch, but for the space of about a week he wouldn't move from me, and I actually had to physically lift up the couch and let him slide off. Once he was on all fours, he was fine.
Okay.
But he wouldn't get up, and I thought there was something weird here. And it was actually kind of stressful for me and really upsetting for me, because he's like my child.
Yeah.
And one day I had a bit of a heart-to-heart with him, and the other two dogs were in the kitchen and I was in the living room with Renko, and I looked at him and I said, "Renko, what do you want me to do?" I didn't know I was going to lose him. I didn't know if he'd have to be put to sleep or whatever. And I said, "What do you want me to do?" And this is not one word of a lie, John. I had my hands like that, and he took out his paw and he just put it on my hand like that. And I have a photo of it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, yeah, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
Yeah.
You know, but like, and he's now okay.
Yeah.
And I got a bit of comfort in that.
Yeah.
I know that sounds...
Yeah,
people are watching this thinking, I kind of a lunatic.
Yeah.
Oh. But I think there's a connection there that we have with dogs that is unexplainable. But he was able to communicate with me there. Strangely. He could feel... I think they can sense your pain. They can sense you're upset. But I have that photo, and to be honest with you, it's I could find it now, and but it would take me a while to scroll through the photos. But it's a photo I'm going to get framed.
Yeah, savage.
You know.
I did a podcast with a lady. She's not on any social media. Claire McGann is her name, and I have to read books and practice all this stuff to somehow even aim to be 1% as good of a human as Claire McGann is. Okay. So what Claire does is she volunteers in St. Francis Hospice in Raheny, and she service dogs and she rescues dogs. She lives in a lovely house on the Holt Road. At any given time she's between about 10 and 16 dogs. So when people come into the home to see out their days or weeks, she finds out have they got a dog. So if you go in and say your wife and you have a dog, she'll find out if you have the dog, and she goes to whatever pound it's after going to, because kids will never take the dog, and she gets the dog and brings it home to see out its life in her home. It's like a doggy hotel. When she rings me to go and do work for her, I love it. I love going to her house. But she has a couple of service dogs that she brings up there, and she said it's amazing because they're a bit crazy. But when somebody is dying towards the end, they can't speak anymore or whatever, and the dogs just pop up on the lap and don't move, and the person just pets them. She said it's amazing to see. That's in the podcast I done with Claire McGann. Like what you're saying, they have a communication level. They can't speak, but dogs are they're next level, like, you know. And I don't trust humans that don't like dogs. If you don't like dogs, I'm like,
Bill Murray said that.
There's something
there's
something not right there with that person.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like dogs, I'm gonna keep an eye out for that person. There's something not right there.
Bill Murray said that.
Oh,
before.
did he?
Do you know Bill Murray? The
actor?
Yeah. Very funny man.
Yeah.
Let me just. I'm just gonna Google that. Bill Murray dogs, because I'd like to get it right. His quote. Yeah. I'm suspicious of people who don't like dogs, but I trust a dog when it doesn't like a person.
100%. I'd sign up to that. I'm all in on that one. I'm going to search that one out. That's the first time I've ever heard that one.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
He's bang on.
Yeah.
He's bang on there, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
I suppose we better start talking about the cafe, and we've gone.
We don't need to speak about the cafe at all.
It's great food. It's great food. I've gone to Fisborough. I told you the story about Fisborough at the very start of this. The little part that played in us making us, because as you said, we all thought we were going to die, and I was listening to the news, going, Jesus Christ! But it was some semblance of normality back in the time, you know. And you've a few other ventures coming online with regard to the coffee.
I guess when COVID first hit, we voluntarily closed the cafe on the 15th of March. So before the government made us or anything, we just thought, doesn't really sit well with me to have people, because the White Moose, we're very grateful that it's quite a big brand, John, and like it's always busy. So on the 15th of March, before the government shut anything down, I took the decision, we're just going to have to close. So closed on the 15th. That was a Sunday. The 16th was a Monday. Nothing happening on the Monday. Just place closed. I sat in there very sad, just in an empty cafe, no customers, and just what are we going to do? So I decided, right, we're not going to leave it like this forever. So on the 17th, Paddy's Day, the next day, we opened up the horse box that I had bought about 2 years prior, not realising COVID was coming down the tracks. And we started to do food via takeaway, delivery and collection. And so we did moosties, which are our toasted sandwiches, out of the horse box. And it went really, really well. I don't think we were actually able to handle the volume of orders coming in because, remember, we only had a horse box doing toasted sandwiches. So I said, right, I think we're going to have to open up the main kitchen. So the next day we opened up the main kitchen and we enlarged the menu, and since then it's just been non-stop, and we've kept staff in employment, we've kept, you know, both the team and myself going, because the alternative wouldn't be great. It would be an idle mind, as I talked about earlier. And we've kept customers happy, I'd like to think, as well. Possibly not the neighbours, because, you know, there's so much traffic coming into the White Moose, so many people queuing, and that the neighbours were a little bit pissed off at times. But yeah, it's gone from strength to strength, and we've opened up Moose on the Loose in Philly's place in Finglas, which is the COVID-friendly love child of White Moose Cafe, I call it. COVID-friendly love. So there's no seats at all. It's like takeaway, delivery, or collection. When I say collection, I mean you order online and then you come and collect it. Takeaway is you order here, and which is a little detail. And we've a third place coming on stream now, which I can't tell you where it is just yet, but
super.
Looking forward to it.
It's all good.
So yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Brilliant. So thanks for having the chat with us today. Really enjoyed that, and enjoyed the sea swim.
Here, it was an absolute pleasure.
Enjoyed the sea swim, and your business partner met us down there, and he got in without a wetsuit, which is a 1% marginal gain for the day. Just leave the wetsuit. That little challenge, them little small, winning them small little battles against yourself. That's what it's all about.
The atomic habits.
Yeah, winning them small little battles.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of read James Clear's book. That 1% stuff is on a daily basis.
Incremental.
I think that is, like, there's all these books out there on goal setting. For me, it's one of the most relatable, and I do it in my training. I try and do it in my life. I try and do it with myself, and I try and encourage my children to. We all aim at this unrealistic stuff. Sometimes it's that little small stuff, little tiny stuff, you know, and they all add up.
Absolutely, 100%.
They all add
100%. Well, thanks, John. Really enjoy this, and I just, on a side note, I really like this setup.
Thank you very much.
I think the kind of the casual nature of it, no kind of boom mics coming down and lights everywhere.
Yeah.
I think sitting in the front of a van is very conducive to kind of just natural chat. Not contrived at all.
Yeah,
no. Not in any way forced, or you know, it's. I do. So kudos to you, John, for this kind of setup and doing so well. You've had 50.
You're the 51st, You're the 51st, so 50, If anybody wants to scoop back and have a look at them, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. The link is always in the bio on the Instagram page. Go back, and I've a variety of people that overcome all sorts and trying to become better. You know, that's the gist with a natural conversation. Like, I have a question in my mind. I had 2 questions in my mind for you today, and I haven't asked any of them. but the conversation has been perfect. So it's we just roll with it. You know what I mean? It's
There's a beauty to no script.
yeah. That's what it is.
And it's like, I know you're probably going to finish, and here's me blabbing on.
No,
but
no. It's all
like
good,
you know the
it's all
Tommy Tiernan RTE show.
Yes.
I love that.
It's the best one. It's
I
the best
so
one.
much prefer to the late.
It's the best
Now
one.
I don't know if it's true that he doesn't know. People are a bit skeptical about that. Some people say, he has to know. Whether he does or not, I think his way of asking questions with no script, no knowledge of the person, potentially, is just brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think you're tapping into a similar style here.
Yeah.
And much respect for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
And like finishing on that point, it's like people think they know me or you via social media. No, that's but how do you really get to understand somebody or have a chat with them? You know, just a conversation about whatever. And it's always about like meeting each other on the middle ground. Yeah, we mightn't agree on most stuff, but we're all good people. We're all not trying to. For me, life is about, as I said earlier on, doing stuff that you enjoy. Yeah, making the few bob to feed your family, and thinking of your community, like constant thought of others.
Yeah,
that is it. You know,
that's what it's about.
And rescuing dogs if you can.
Yeah.
Dogs,
100%,
dogs
100%,
in there as well.
100%.
Rescue dogs, walk dogs,
100%.
pet dogs. Be a better human, you know.
Yeah. And just on your point there about social media, people think they know you from social media.
No,
it's social media is. There's a vast gulf of difference between the social media self and the real self.
Yeah.
And I think a format like this helps the real self to shine.
Mm-hmm.
The social media self is the performer.
Yes.
It's the kind of the exaggerated version of oneself, perhaps, or the perfect version for all these Insta-huns who get these perfect, body shots and filters and all that. But I think knowing the real self, which this kind of thing will bring out, is lacking, and it's what's needed. So thank you.
No worries, Paul. I really enjoyed that. We will be seeing each other again.
We will.
Sea swimming.
We will.
You have to join the club.
5:30.
5:30.
5 a.m. club.
5 a.m. club. You up the shelters.
You up the shelters. Okay. Cool.
And it was great talking to you.
You too.
I really
You
enjoyed
too.
that conversation. I
You
really
too.
enjoyed the sea swim this morning. And please give Paul a follow. You're probably following him anyway. A lot of people were excited about this, my wife especially. Get into the White Moose Cafe and
they don't even need to get into the White Moose Cafe.
Sea swim.
But sea swim.
Walk
You
dogs.
do need
be
to get
nice
it.
dogs.
Yeah. Don't worry about the White Moose Cafe. But worry about... No, don't even worry about... But get in, sea swimming, get walking your dogs.
And community. Connection.
Yeah. And connect. That's it.
That's
John,
it.
thank you.
No worries, man.
Okay. Brilliant.